Go.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV Live. I'm your host, Peter Lee. With me, as always, is my producer, director, cameraman, my IT wizard. He's also my husband, Phil Gordimer.
Yay!
There he is. So today, you see we are outside in our little mountain hideaway. So if there's anyone in chat, I want to ask if you can hear us, let us know. The other thing, for those of you watching, we're outside. It's a busy campground, so there's going to be some noises. One of our neighbors is building a deck, so we might have that. There could be a barking dog, some birds, the wind, whatever, but we'll get through it and we'll have some fun along the way. So first up, as you know, we open with a cocktail. Today, we're having strawberry daiquiris. Why not? It's summertime. It's warm. My chill glasses. Oh, it's not quite empty. There we go. Now we'll leave the link for the daiquiri episode. But look how fun these are. All right. Double strain.
We're doing girly drinks today.
Yes, we are. Light and refreshing. There. All right. Here you go, mon petit. And cheers. That's lovely. Let's put that aside.
A little sweet, but I will drink it.
They are. You know. So today's live stream is all about summer produce, farm stands, and summer cooking. I'm going to show you how to make a caprese salad. And we're going to make it 3 different ways. Very simple salad. This is of Italian origins, as you might imagine. And it really features and highlights fresh summer tomatoes. Now, if you're lucky like me, I live in New Jersey, and Jersey tomatoes, I think, are the best. But really, just fresh tomatoes from wherever you can get them. Simple. You've often seen the salad laid on a big, big platter. I'm going to make individual ones. You start with a little piece of tomato, some fresh mozzarella cheese, and a nice leaf of basil. There are your colors of the Italian flag. And you just repeat to whatever portion size you want. I think this makes a nice size as a starter. Now you can put whatever type of dressing or vinaigrette. You can add garlic, spices. I just like a little dribble of nice, thick balsamic vinegar. Here we go. Just like that. Thank you, Rich. It is perfect for today. Another way you can do this, and I like to do this for the wow factor, we're going to make a Napoleon. Now, Napoleon is a method of stacking things. Whether it's a pastry, it's usually a pastry, but you can use the same technique for other things. So again, this time we're going to start with the cheese because that's going to stick to the plate and help keep it steady. Oops, then tomato and a piece of basil. And then guess what? More cheese. Another tomato. Another basil. Now you can go as high up as you like. I like to secure these with a skewer. Today I have some lovely rosemary and I just trimmed the stem. So that's how we're going to keep that together. But like I said, you can build these as high as you want and you get such great wow factor. But there's one more way that I like to do, and this is a very popular way when I make these. We're going to make little individual skewers. So I've got some little picks here. I have some beautiful cherry tomatoes, all kinds of colors. They're really fun. And I have little balls of fresh mozzarella. So it's easy. A tomato, a little piece of cheese, a little piece of basil, And then I like to go a little farther. I've got some black olives because I like black olives. You could use pepperoni, salami, some other type of olive. You could leave it off altogether. But I promise you, if you put out a platter of these beautiful little hors d'oeuvres, these little picks, they're going to disappear every single time.
And our studio audience is looking at him going, I want some.
Yeah, we do have a small studio audience today. Hi, guys. Hello. You can say hi. So this is our 3 ways to make a caprese salad. I can probably trim that down. There we go. That's a little better. Fun stuff, huh? I suppose I should let my husband eat some, shouldn't I?
And all of these came from one of many farm stands.
Yep.
We live in southern New Jersey, which is all farm country. And we have tons of choices, plus a number of Amish markets that also bring fresh produce in over from Lancaster.
Here you go, dear. Have a little one. So that's our topic for today is...
am I supposed to do this like this?
Yes. You can eat just a little pick. Fine, I'll get you a knife and fork because it's right next to him. Heaven forbid. Here.
Ooh, I get to try to push the buttons and eat all at the same time.
Yeah, but then you complain I don't feed you, so, you know. Anyway, back to our topic. We're talking...
Back to you.
Back to me, please. We're talking about farm stands, farmers market, Amish markets, whatever you have near you, and all the summer cooking and fresh produce. From Carol, what is your favorite vegetable and how do you prepare it? That's a tough question. And that's because I was very, very lucky. I grew up in a very small town, but we had a huge yard and we had a huge garden. Our neighbors next door had an even bigger garden and it was all one combined. So we would grow stuff and just trade off. If we had more tomatoes than them, they would take some tomatoes and whatever. But we also had a big farm stand in town, and we used to go there if they had something that we weren't growing that summer, or if we needed more than we had. So I grew up learning to like all the vegetables. You know, a lot of kids, they don't like vegetables, they won't eat it, and we were all like that too, but when you actually go out and you plant the seeds with little seedlings, and then you watch it grow, and you water them and take care of them. Oh, there's Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Glad you're here. And then you harvest them yourselves. It really makes you appreciate it. I would say this year, in this time of year, though, my favorite thing is the Jersey tomatoes. And I have all kinds of ways. You saw the caprese salad. Sometimes I will stuff them with a crab salad and make a nice dish like that. But also, you know, some of the others that we can cook down and make soups and pasta salads. I've been known just to pick up a fresh Jersey tomato and eat it like an apple.
And because you have to pass through multiple farms to get to our house, we can literally see what they're growing and see what's going to be their market next week. And right now, asparagus is growing like crazy.
Yeah.
Jersey tomatoes are just becoming available. It's a little early for Jersey corn. The expression is knee-high, 4th of July.
But they'll be here.
But we also in New Jersey have cranberries and blueberries, of which New Jersey is the largest producer of blueberries in the country.
I have a beautiful bowl of fresh New Jersey blueberries from Hamilton, New Jersey, which is the largest blueberry producer in the country.
It was the first cultivated in the U.S., but the little town of Hamilton has so many blueberry fields that the town of Hamilton produces more than the entire state of Wisconsin put together.
Pretty amazing. But yeah, so I love this time of year, and my favorite thing is to go to the produce stand or the Amish market, whatever it is, and just see what they have and figure it out from there.
All right, Tarina says we've changed location, so this is probably our first live stream.
Oh, yes.
So let's tell her where we are.
So we have a permanent site and a campground in the mountains of Pennsylvania. And we come here almost every weekend. So we're in the middle of the woods on the side of a mountain. And we're outside, so that's why I say there may be some noises, some birds, a barking dog. One of our neighbors is building a deck. You never know what's going to happen. But we film our episodes here as often as we can, and we do the live streams. It can be challenging, but we love it here. It's fun. And as you see, I have a full kitchen here, just like at home. Except I don't have double ovens here. We need to fix that, dear. From Karen, we live near an Amish farmer's market and we get a lot more than just fresh produce. Well, that's true. That's great. A lot of the farmers markets and even the farm stands, you know, a farm stand is, there's the farm and at the curbside is their little stand. And then you have these Amish markets and farmers markets that are usually like a separate building somewhere else, but you can often get so much more than just produce. You know, you can get local honeys and preserves and oils and vinegars. Sometimes, like with the Amish markets, you can get meats and seafood and things like that, and all kinds of other goods. Phil hates it when I say, can we go to the Amish market today? Because he knows I'm going to spend a lot of money, but we're going to get lots of stuff. But it usually requires me to wander around, and I don't know what I want. Do you have some exciting blueberry recipes for us in the upcoming shows? I hear that blueberries from New Jersey are the best. Well, I like to think they're the best. Yeah, actually, we are working on a blueberry cocktail that isn't so sickeningly sweet as you might think, but you'll like it. And there's always...
We did a blueberry pound cake recipe.
We did. We did a lemon blueberry cake recipe a couple years ago. Yep.
All right, I'll have to put that down in the show notes.
Yeah, but yeah, I have been working on a few things. But, you know, I like, if I make just a regular tossed salad, I like having berries around and just throwing a handful of blueberries in. It's something different. Same thing with strawberries or raspberries. You know, kind of like people put dried cranberries in their salads a lot. Do it with other fruit.
But don't worry, we will never do blueberry wine.
Yeah, no.
Ever.
There's a practical limit for us. It's very popular in South Jersey, but it's a little too sweet for us. Oh, lovely. It's great to have that getaway. I'm a house dog sitting for 2 weeks. I'm being spoiled with a wolf stove. Oh, I'm very jealous.
So he really wants a wolf stove. It's not happening in our house.
Yeah, well, just not this year. Maybe after we pay off the deck and, you know, Food Network picks up our show. If you're listening, Food Network. So anyway, summer produce and farm stands. What? So
we like to promote
other
small YouTube channels, cooking channels, and there's lots of them out there. And we have about 10 or 12 that we visit pretty regularly and comment. And one of the great little YouTube channels is by a lady named Jill called Yesterkitchen. It's a great site. I have a link in the description to her channel. And she's just created this really cool, different type of recipe book.
Here it is. Her name is Jill Hecker. Every dish has a story. And this isn't the type of cookbook that you would think that has pretty pictures, but there's a story behind each recipe. So it tells all the story of the recipe, and then it gives you the recipe and all the instructions for it. And it's a really great little book.
And most of these stories are about childhood memories. So 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah. Her channel has amazing stuff about recipes from the 50s and 60s and 70s. Check her out. Check her book out. It's been a fun read.
Yeah.
And you know, go to her channel, subscribe to her channel. And in her book, she talks about a lot of other YouTube channels that you like. So we're gonna try.
We are not mentioned because we only just met her recently. That's okay. We want to give her a shout out. So we have lots of other channels, Karen in the Kitchen, Mitchell Phillip, and a few others that we want to at least shout out every time we're on to promote, because that's how you expand our community. So, you know, give them a like button. Today, if you like getting something out of today, give us a like. Type something in the comments. The more YouTube sees interaction, the more they like us. We are only we're only 70 or 80 away from 3,000 subscribers. Yeah,
yay.
Close. So, and I know some of you have asked, when is the cookbook coming out? When are you writing a cookbook? I will. Just be a little more patient. This takes up a lot of time. So, anyway, back to summer produce, and back to me. from Bill. I love getting local honey from our farm stands. Oh, yeah, me too.
Oh,
Yeah, he goes nuts because sometimes I'll hit the Amish market or one of the little farm stands and I come back, with 6 jars of different honeys. And it's like,
and again, working in Hamilton,
Yeah.
there's blueberry everything, including blueberry honey.
But, yeah, there are all kinds of really great stuff like that out there. But then that's always a challenge. If I bring home 6 different types of honey, then I'm challenging myself, how am I going to use them? There's clover honey and blueberry and garlic and spicy honey and all kinds of weird things. And it's always a fun way to challenge myself.
Hey, it's been good. There's been no golf carts. See, I'm cursing us now. There's been no golf carts.
And now the breeze is kicking up.
Breeze is kicking up, but I think they're done doing some construction on the deck over there.
Oh, one would
so
hope.
Maybe.
One would
but
hope.
our normal doggies haven't come to visit us, so we'll
That's
see.
all right. Anyway, back to our topic. We'll try
Back to
one more
you.
time. Or we're just going to have a free-for-all. So, yeah, so I have lots of produce here today. We have some tomatoes and berries and string beans, blueberries, cucumbers, corn, but also herbs. Herbs are a great thing you can get at a lot of your produce stands. I have some rosemary. Yes, dear, I'll get there. He's giving me directions from the side where you can't see him. Anyway, we have some lovely rosemary. This is one of my favorite herbs ever. I use this a lot. Thyme is my other favorite. But I have some basil. Basil's very easy to grow, and I just have it in a glass of water, and it just perks right up. And I have dill, another favorite. I will be making some cucumber salads in our next episode that feature a lot of dill. And I use a lot of dill, especially this time of year when it's so plentiful. And they call it dill weed because it really is, but you can grow this in your yard or in a pot on your windowsill if you live in the city or something like that. But dill, basil, they're very easy to grow. So, love this. Oh, thanks, Melissa. It's always fun to see you in your summer kitchen. Yes, thank you. We love coming here. Although last week it was cold. It was in the 40s.
It was 41 degrees last year. Now it's 87 right now, which up here is unusual. And because we're under a covered deck with a metal roof, we don't quite get a whole lot of breeze under here.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're schwitzing a little bit.
Yeah, but last week we were sitting here shivering. We had the patio heater on.
Wondering why the hell we're here.
Yes.
And should we just go home?
Yeah. So, what else we got in the questions?
I'm looking.
Okay. Do you have any watermelon recipes from Jackson? Yeah, I do. And as a matter of fact, we did a grilled watermelon salad a couple of years ago, and that's a great fun thing to do. But watermelon is one of those things it's always best to get at a produce stand when they're still warm from being out in the sun, and all the things you can do, even if you just cut a hole in it and pour in some vodka and make it for the adults, and then you crack it open later and you have this grown-up fruit salad that's all macerated with vodka or whatever flavor you like, lemonade, things like that. But there's a lot more that you can do with watermelon than just slicing it up and eating it. And that's one of those great things.
Speaking of that, I'm going in.
Go for it. One of the things I like about all the produce stands is getting the vegetables that I wouldn't normally see in my supermarket. Different types of beans, different types of fruit, or it'll look nicer. So sure, I can get plums in my supermarket any old time, but they're usually small and flavorless. But I get the plums that were grown in the orchard just locally, and they're big and warm and juicy and wonderful. And again, the stuff you can make with them is incredible. But, then there's also all the heirloom varieties of vegetables, like heirloom tomatoes and things like that. All the different squashes.
Our one big grocery stand does tomatoes on the vine.
Well, yeah, you can usually get these at your supermarket, but these were locally grown, and our one farm stand will just cut the vine just like this and put them out. And one of the great things, what I like about this, it smells like a tomato. So if it doesn't smell like a tomato, it's not gonna taste like a tomato if it doesn't smell like it. So give them a smell. And you get that green kind of planty smell from them. But again, tomatoes are also easy to grow. Yes, we've seen that, dear.
Hold on. My finger missed the real question that she asked. Because
Any suggestion for keeping basil plants from getting leggy and helping the plant to grow and fill out? Well, yes. So basil has one job. Its one job is to grow and flower and seed, and that's it. But if you want to keep it growing, trim it, use it. So like, here's one that has some buds starting with some seeds. Just tip that off, and it won't grow there. When you keep using it, pull these leaves off, and it will just keep growing and getting bigger the more you use it. But you got to watch for when they're about to flower like that. That's when you want to get rid of that. Because really, once it flowers and seeds, it's going to be pretty much done. Getting leggy. I like that. Basil is very thirsty too. Basil takes a lot of water. So,
I have to ask us what this one is.
Have you made watermelon agua fresca? No, I haven't, but I'm willing to. Send me a recipe.
He does like Fresca, but his gout doesn't.
Well, but that's not Fresca the soda, dear. That's watermelon, agua, water, fresh, Fresca, fresh. No, send me a recipe and I'll make it. We'll do a whole cocktail episode on it. I love watermelon cocktails. Same as cucumbers version. Sure. But okay. I don't have a cucumber recipe, but I'll look one up and we will see about making them. Because I'll bet that would be really good and refreshing, and something we could do is, cocktail episode in here. Okay, from Michael. I live in the city and I don't have farm stands. Okay, well, Michael, I'll bet you do. I really bet you do. So I have friends who run their family farm. Anita and Nancy, their sisters that I grew up with. And we live outside of Philadelphia. So they take their produce once a week into, guess what, the little farmer stands within Philadelphia in Center City. So all the big cities have those places where there are little markets where the local farmers can bring in goods and sell their wares, and you can get that fresh produce. So do a little research. You'll probably find you have some other markets available to you, like bigger farmers and produce markets too. So, agua fresca. That's fun. And you made me lose my train of thought now. It's going somewhere.
All right, we'll get another question.
All right, we'll do another question. I'll figure it out. Why don't you taste your food as you cook like chefs on TV? Taste your food as you cook. Okay, well, you know what? Sometimes I do. Most of the time I do, but we edit that out afterwards. On YouTube, we like to keep our videos around 10 to 11 minutes so that our viewers don't lose interest. And you don't really need to see me 5 times tasting. I did in the early years, I did that a couple times, and then some people wrote in like, you're eating all the food. I'm like, okay. So we just cut that part out, but I do. And then there are some episodes where I've said, I'm going to taste it for seasoning, and when we come back, we'll plate it up and whatever. So you just don't get to see it.
All right, here's an interesting one.
My farm stand has kohlrabi. What is it and how do I use it? Okay, that's perfect. That's what I was talking about. Some vegetables you don't normally get in your supermarket. You very rarely see kohlrabi. So kohlrabi is part of the cabbage family. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, all the different types of cabbage, all came from the same, very original plant. And over the years, over the millennium, humans just cultivated it and changed it and made it grow different things in the different areas. And kohlrabi is part of that family. And it's a very mild vegetable. It has a texture almost in between an apple and a potato. You can cook it. You can eat it raw. It's sweet. It's not too sweet like a fruit, but it has a nice crunch and a nice sweetness. You can use, if you can get them with the full stems and leaves on them, you can cook the leaves too. They take a little longer to cook, kind of like collards, but they're very good. You can cook them down. You can eat basically the whole plant. You can grill it, you can steam it, boil it, eat it raw. It's however.
Isn't that similar to broccoli rabe?
No. Broccoli rabe is tall, green, looks almost like broccoli, and it's very bitter. Kohlrabi is more around the size of an apple, and it's bulbous. It's like a bulb. and it has sprouts coming up off of it. But it's part of the same greater family. They all came from the same plant. My mother used to cook that. The only way she knew how to cook it was to steam it, and then she would make white sauce and serve it with white sauce. So it was okay, but it was like, this is kind of tasteless, Mom. Like, but it's very healthy for you. It has a lot of good nutrients.
Oops.
Silly. But
Wrong button.
That's one of those things that, as a grown-up, I've explored it myself and have used it. From Sarah, I heard that New Jersey was the first cultivated blueberries in America. Yes, yes, it was. Absolutely.
I work in Hamilton. We kind of joke this time of the year no one has blonde hair.
Okay. Let's not go there. Mon petits. So, of course, a strawberry daiquiri. Now, one of my favorite things to do, and I love going to the farm stands for them, is the berries and the fruits, because they're so much better than what you get in the supermarkets. So, for example, a blueberry cobbler, I love it, or a raspberry pie, strawberry shortcake. My mother she was obsessed with strawberry shortcake. That was her favorite dessert in the world.
And in a few more weeks, Jersey corn will be available. And our most popular episode, and Rich is here in the audience who makes it, is our
Summer corn salad.
That episode is approaching 10,000 views, so people seem to like it.
Yep. Yes, they do. So, you people out there in chat, what kind of recipes would you want me to do? You got any questions as far as how do I cook something? From Jeff, what are your favorite fresh herbs? Well, like I said, rosemary is one of my favorites. I love this. I use it as often as I can. Thyme is my go-to when I'm making sauces and gravies. That's my go-to herb. Dill is another favorite, so those three are really, but rosemary and thyme are my two go-to herbs. And when I can get them fresh like this, yeah, delicious.
We had a huge rosemary bush for years, but it didn't survive the trip from our old house to the new house.
Yeah, that was kind of strange. We grew it in a big pot, a big earthenware pot, and it was huge, and just didn't like moving 6 miles up the road, but oh well. Another one I'm experimenting with is lavender. I have some lavender growing here at camp. I have some growing at home. And it's one of those things that you have to be careful because it will take over. But if you like lavender, that's fine. It does help keep bugs away, and then that smell from the flowers, have that all summer long wafting through, is beautiful. But it's perfectly edible, and you can put it in a lot of things. Yes, I love that. SCS.
Summer corn salad.
Summer corn salad, yes, okay. I see that in the little emojis. Yeah, and we made that here. Okay, do you have a fresh take on the classic strawberry shortcake? Actually, I am working on one. I am toying with an idea of grilling some stuff.
Speaking of that, I'm going for a strawberry right now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because I can.
All right.
And so is the bee that's in front of me.
See, they got to look at that, Walter. But yeah, I'm actually working on one. I want to add a grilled element to it. Now you may think, oh, you can grill the little shortcake, and you can, but I don't know. I'm kind of playing. But yeah, it is one of my favorite desserts just because it has that memory. My mom always made it. It was her favorite thing. So I have that nostalgia for it. I don't know that I liked it that much growing up. I liked the whipped cream on it, but now that I'm grown up, yeah, we'll see. Oh, thank you, Sharina. That's very good. Thank you very much. So we'll be making that. Lavender is amazing. I've heard it can be used in cocktails as well. Yes. There's lots of cocktails that you can make it with. It likes gin. It likes vodka. Rosemary is another one. Rosemary and gin are a great combination. Love baking with lavender, especially when combining with lemon and blueberries. Yep, another one. Yeah, lemon, blueberries, they all like those. And you know, that's something a lot of times you can take a lot of these flavors. For example, you can take basil and strawberries. They go really well together, and you wouldn't think so, but there are a lot of recipes out there that use strawberry and basil. There's some cocktails even that use strawberry and basil, because the basil gives that little hint of not spice, but that little sharpness against the sweetness of the strawberries. So it's really kind of that counterbalance. And hi, Kim. I see you in there. Thank you for joining. My friend Kim. I won't tell if you add a little vodka to yours. Oh, thank you.
Oh,
yeah, well.
There's no such thing as a virgin drink in our house.
Yeah, rarely. So my friend Kim is in chat. She and I grew up together. She still lives in our hometown, so she knows all about the farm stands I was talking about. Poya's farm stand. I don't know if it's still there, but we are very lucky to have grown up with that. Is New Jersey really farmland? Being between New York and PA, I thought it was all industrial areas. Well, that is the, and here comes the wind, that is the unfortunate perception. We are called the Garden State for a reason. And there's that little corridor right in between the two big cities. But above that, it's all rural and all farmlands. And below that, all the way to the shore, is farmlands and it's rural. So yeah, we produce a lot of stuff in New Jersey. We have a lot of farms, and not just vegetables. I mean, there's cattle farms.
Yeah, New Jersey also produces, we're one of the largest producers of cranberries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Down here in South Jersey, we also have peach trees and apple trees. And
yeah.
so it really is the garden state.
Yeah.
The problem is people see refineries on their way to New York and associate the entire state with that.
That's quite yummy. Wait, who's driving home today?
Good thing we aren't driving home till later, huh?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I hear you call Phil and other people mon petit spelling. What does that mean? Oh, okay. So this is a habit I picked up. One of my favorite series of books to read is the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series by Laurel K. Hamilton. And in it, the main vampire, Jean-Claude, is from France. And he calls Anita Blake, who is this petite, pretty little woman. She's like barely 5 feet, I think. So he calls her mon petite. And it's kind of a dig at her, but it becomes a term of endearment. And so somewhere along the line, I said that to Phil one day. And I called him that, and then all of a sudden he started calling me that, and it's just grown from there. So sometimes I say it and I don't even realize I'm saying it. And I sometimes get funny looks from our friends, especially the ones that are here, and I'll say, "Here you go, mon petit," and they're like, "What?"
All right, this one I actually know the answer to.
Uh-oh. Suggestions for freezing, preserving fresh berries and produce for later use. Okay, if you know the answer, go for it.
I do know the answer because they do entire seminars on this in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Because people buy cases of blueberries. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to freeze them, you want to lay them out on a large tray and dust the tray with a little bit of cornstarch. You're not rolling it into them. You're giving the place for moisture to go. Put that whole tray in the freezer for about 35 to 40 minutes so they're just partially frozen. Bring them back out, take them off the tray, pop them in a plastic bag, freeze them hard, and that can last for over a year.
Yeah. Good answer, dear. And good question.
All right. Am I done with all of our... Yes, all of our Facebook questions are done.
No, we didn't have very many this week.
No, we did not.
That's all right. How are we doing on time?
You got 20 minutes. You need to start dancing.
Dancing or something.
So let's...
5, 6, 7, 8.
Hey, yeah. Yeah. Very funny, Rich. Sure, Jan.
Well, with all these cucumbers and stuff, let's make
I'm not
something.
cooking anything, dear. I'm not cooking anything else. You're going to ruin our next episode. So when we're done here, we're going to film next week's episode. And I'm making my cucumber salad. I'm making it 2 ways, one with oil and vinegar and one with sour cream. And they both have a lot of dill and onions. And Phil was just, I don't know what he was doing this morning. And as I'm cutting the tomatoes, he's like, "Well, what about the cucumbers? We're making the cucumbers. You got to get the sour cream." I'm like, slow down, sis.
We run a lot of recipes
We do.
together at the same time, so
Yeah. And then when we have stuff like this time of year, it's all about produce for us. And we go to farm stands as often as we can, which is a couple times a week. And I'm always bringing home stuff. He's bringing home stuff. He went out and bought all this to come up here and film this. And he just said, random stuff, you'll figure out how to do and what to do with it.
Our friend Rich, who's here, actually works in a produce place. So he's constantly prepping down that produce and bringing us a bunch of stuff.
Posting pictures on Facebook.
Right.
Now, here's something I love to get at the farm stand. Do you make sun-dried tomatoes? If so, how? No, I do not. I buy them. You can make them. I know there's a way you can. They're essentially just dehydrated. So you can do that in your oven. You would lay them out on a sheet pan and on a really low oven. It takes quite a while to do. So I'd rather just buy them pre-done. But you can buy them dried or dried and then in oil. I buy them both for different uses. And if I could find freshly made local ones, can you imagine freshly like sun-dried tomatoes made with Jersey tomatoes? That would be pretty awesome.
So can we do a basics here?
Like,
You have all these beans, of how to cut them and prep them?
really?
Really?
I'd rather not.
Okay.
I was going to say, one of the things that we eat a lot this time of year because they're always so fresh, or actually we eat a lot anyway, but we always, when they're fresh, we get them, is string beans. And this is something that I entertain with. When we entertain, I serve these a lot because it's safe. Most people will eat a string bean. They might not want broccoli, they might not want cauliflower or whatever else, or heaven forbid Brussels sprouts, but string beans, I've never had anyone turn them down. So the challenge is I go and I buy, a big colander full, a great big batch from my farmer's market, and then I go, okay, what am I going to do with these before they go bad? Fortunately, they last quite a while, but still. How many ways can I make string beans? So we have several episodes of string beans.
We do.
But, this is one of those produce finds, and that's, I guess, one of the pitfalls of going to all these farmers markets and things is you see a big basket of fresh tomatoes and it's $5. You go, oh, I want them, and then you get home and you go, what the heck am I going to do with all of these tomatoes? I'll never eat all these. And I fall into that trap almost every single time.
And Jersey asparagus right now is just growing like crazy, but
Love asparagus.
we've just done a bunch of episodes with asparagus.
Well, we
so
did one.
Not today.
We did one, dear. Just one. But we've been eating a lot of
We did
asparagus.
a roasted one too.
That was last year, dear. So we've done 2 episodes in the entirety of everything. But we eat a lot of asparagus this time of year. And he's starting to get a little tired of it. And I don't care. I love it. But again, here's what I said earlier about I grew up. That was one vegetable I did not like growing up. I didn't like it at all. And then I guess when I was a teenager or maybe right out of college, I was at a farm stand. There they were. I thought, oh, they look nice. I'll get them. And then I called my mom and I said, how do I cook asparagus? And she said, why? You hate asparagus. And then she yelled at me. But she taught me how to cook it.
I know we hit the farm stands yesterday, but are they all the same type of cucumber? Or did we get different types?
No, we just got these. These, what I got at our farm stand, they grow the English variety. These have the thin skin and the seeds that are really digestible. But you can get the regular cucumbers too. And another one, really good in cocktails. Especially, gin. Gin loves cucumbers. And loves cucumbers and rosemary. So, yeah. So that's one of my pitfalls of going to all of the... Kimmy says, I love beans. What kind of beans? If you love string beans, I've got all kinds of recipes. Grilling them, roasting them, making them spicy, doing them with lemon and dill. Dill and lemon and string beans. Ooh, that whole chef's kiss. Yeah, great flavors. But I like exploring some of those old-fashioned dishes too, like from the 40s and 50s, like string beans almondine, right? Right, Keith? People used to make that. That was like a big fancy thing when we were all growing up. Like, string beans almondine. And what is it? It's boiled or sautéed string beans with some slivered almonds. It's not rocket science, but But see, that gets me thinking, how can I take that and make it more modern and more, what can I add to it? How can I bring it into the 21st century, so to speak? But this is one of my favorites that we eat a lot of. And we will eat ourselves almost sick with all these vegetables because we eat so much of them. And then when it comes fall, and I was like, oh, there's no more asparagus.
And we're kind of lazy. We tend not to buy a ton and can it and preserve it because we can get fresh almost all the time.
Yeah, we are. We are, that's true. So we didn't talk about really Amish markets either, or the bigger farmers markets. This was all about the produce stands. But if you have one of those bigger markets near you, take advantage of it. Now you may pay a little more. For example, we have 2 Amish markets near us, and the one that's closest that we go to often, the prices are a little higher, but the quality is like from here to here. And so to me, it's worth it. And they bring in, I don't buy much produce there because there's so many farms that I can get stuff from. But the other goods that they bring in, or the other things they make there, like there's a bakery that is incredible.
The cheeses.
There's the cheeses. There's a cheesemonger there, and it's made with all fresh from the farms in Lancaster County, and there's all the heritage stuff. It's not the prepackaged, wrapped in cling film full of chemicals. It's real cheese. There's a poultry stand, and all of that poultry is farm raised. There's a butcher, and again, all farm raised. It's incredible. Don't forget green beans and ham. Ham dinner. Yes. Yeah, that's one of those classic, the ham and potatoes and green beans dinner. Is that like an Irish thing?
All right, here's a good one. This is going to take you a bit.
But that's one of those great things. And they sell that in cans now, potatoes and the beans. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, good question, Melissa. Favorite variety of tomatoes and how do you use each? So, okay, so the regular tomatoes like this that you would buy, that's the type of stuff that I would put on a sandwich, use it in a salad. They're good, especially when they're right off of the vine. I don't have a favorite, but I use each type a different way. The plum tomatoes, or what's the other word for them?
Roma.
The Roma tomatoes, right. They have fewer seeds. They have more pulp, more meat to them. So I cook with those a lot. But when I can get them fresh, you know what? Fresh Jersey Roma tomatoes or plum tomatoes, yeah, I'll put them in a salad and eat them. And then, of course, I love all these little cherry or grape tomatoes that come in all the fun colors. These are the original type of tomatoes. Like they did come in other colors and have slightly different flavors. And when you can find those heritage ones that are all weirdly shaped and stuff, but those are the original fruits. I just love them, just to eat them as is. A lot of times this time of year with fresh produce too, I will more often than not keep it simple. Eat it raw. If I can eat it raw, I will. And we make salads out of all kinds of stuff. And forget the lettuces sometimes. We just have like some string beans and some tomatoes and maybe a few blueberries and some nuts or whatever, and make a salad out of that.
So a little history for Jersey tomatoes is the agriculture department of Princeton University, which is here in New Jersey, developed the hybrid tomato that we now know as Jersey tomatoes in about 1950 and offered those seedlings to farms all over the state. Because we are so close to the ocean, the ground is very, very sandy, which is perfect conditions. But it's also the reason why Jersey tomatoes taste different than others. It's a variety that was designed by Princeton University just for this growing area.
And guess what is used, or was anyway, by Campbell Soup in their tomato soup. They paid a lot of local farmers. They worked with Princeton, and so you would see even when I was growing up, truckloads of tomatoes going into Camden to the Campbell's factory, and all the tomato soup. So it was made with local stuff. I don't know about now, but
okay, this one's good just because we were watching some of these episodes about these particular things on Yesterkitchen.
One thing you should never be tempted to bring to the 21st century are those god-awful gelatin mold salads. You know the ones I mean. They have everything but fruit in them, LOL. Okay, well, okay, Rich, honey, you're going to be a little disappointed in me because I grew up on those things and I love them. Now, I'm not talking the ones that have like Vienna sausages suspended in, like, no, why would you do that? No, no, no. But for example, my mother used to make Waldorf salad. Waldorf salad is apples and celery and walnuts and usually some gloppy mayonnaise sauce. And it's tasty. It's one of those like things from the 50s. But she used to make a gelatin salad out of it. And she would suspend it. She would combine apple and I think lime gelatin because it was light green. And so it was all through this slightly sweet gelatin. It was very refreshing in the summertime. So, sorry, I'm petite, but yes, I will be bringing that this summer back to the 21st century because that's one of just those nostalgia. So since we've been talking about this new channel we discovered and our friend who wrote the book, it's got me thinking about even more about some of those older recipes that I've been kind of not bringing onto the show, but now I'm kind of feeling like I like nostalgia too, so I'm gonna start bringing some more.
But our Aspen Hill shrimp or the shrimp and garlic fondue was straight out of the 70s. Fondue is everything.
True, except that I made that up myself in the 2000s. But that's all right. But, oh yeah, homegrown is the best. Yes, Kim, it absolutely is. And Kim, you remember what my backyard was like. It was huge. And at one point, we had a small fruit orchard back there, too. They had gotten a bunch of saplings from the Arbor Society or something. And my mom was one of those people that she would take a blueberry and put it in the ground. The next summer, we'd have a blueberry bush. And she did that. She got these little tiny sticks from the Arbor Society and went out and planted them all in the backyard. And about 5 years later, we had a little orchard back there that we had our own fresh apples, and pears and peaches. So we were lucky that way. And strawberries. But anyway, back to these summer produce stands.
And while we're doing that, if everybody in chat will tell us where they're from, so we kind of know who's watching from where.
Do you use rose petals or rose water in your recipes? I haven't, and I can't find rose water anywhere. I have not used rose petals because I want to make sure I get them organic and I don't want to eat pesticides or serve people things that are run with pesticides. But I would love to. I know they're perfectly edible. But I've used other flowers that I found at some of these farmers markets, like nasturtiums are one of the biggest, most edible things, and they're beautiful to put in flowers. But that's something, just look around your local farms and your local farmers markets. I have never seen rose petals or rose water in any of them, but like I say, I've seen other flowers. So I see on-the-vine tomatoes or clustered tomatoes next to regular tomatoes in the store. Are there any differences in taste? From Avondale, PA here. Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. It goes really for any tomato to smell it. If it smells like a tomato, it will taste like a tomato. But I find, especially in the winter, you'll have a hothouse tomato and it's okay and it's fine. But, when you get these guys that are still on the vine, they're going to be, you can see the different colors in red, the different shades, and give it a smell and it will smell like a tomato. It has that, that green, planty smell to it, and you'll get a lot more flavor. And that's because these are, just staying on the vine, so they're still having that little bit of nutrients, I guess, and whereas this has been ripped off. But again, take advantage of summer tomatoes that have grown up outside in the sun and from those farm stands. So that's the only real difference, in my opinion anyway. My humble opinion. Or not so humble. Rose petals.
Is that we can't keep roses, we kill them.
Well, I've never tried to grow roses, honestly.
We have at our old place.
Okay, that must have been your other husband in that other life that you lived at the same time with me. Yeah, roses can be a little fussy, I understand. I have wild roses growing in the woods behind me. I can't get to them because it's very thick underbrush. But yeah, if I ever grow roses, then definitely I would use them. I would eat them. But Especially since our house was built on a former pig farm, the soil is very fertile, so they probably do well. And yes, it's hot here. And as I always tell you, this is just water. We had our little cocktail for show, just water.
Well, it'll be a cocktail as soon as we're done here.
Yeah.
So obviously, we'll have a live stream in 2 weeks. If you have an idea that you want us to do for a live stream, send it to us at info@letscelebrate.tv, and we'll see what we can do with it. Maybe we've already got something in the works, but if you've got an idea, a recipe, a comment, and in fact, most of these comments that you see for people that aren't in chat come from our Facebook group or right from this email. So, or hit our website and send us an email through there.
So yeah, I think we'll be trying that watermelon aqua fresca when we get home.
This sounds interesting. Yeah, we'll have to.
So here's a fun little thing, and it's really good with fresh produce that you can get. Speaking of drinking water, use some of those fresh fruits to flavor your water. Don't buy the artificial stuff. Plain water, slice up some strawberries, slice up cucumber. They're very refreshing. I don't know about blueberries, but strawberries are nice. Lemon, limes, a combination of lemon and lime. It's really a fun way to do it. Even some of the herbs, you could freeze some of these and have in your cocktail a little herbaceousness.
I'm just checking out the recipe that Teresa sent to us
Oh, good.
for the aqua fresca.
Will it be a cocktail? Okay, you're looking. You're not answering.
Yeah, I'm not multitasking well
You're not
today.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Honestly, I don't have a preference between heritage veggies versus hybrid, especially tomatoes. I don't. I get what I can get. I really believe buying fresh from the produce stands is always the best, whether it's a hybrid or a heritage breed. If you can get the heritage ones, great. They are delicious. And they are actually very dramatic because, like they're brown. A tomato that's brown or a tomato that's green and it's fully ripe, or they're, yellow or orange. They're very dramatic. But honestly, fresh is always the best that I believe, and especially this time of year.
All right, if we don't have anything, and it's coming up to
an hour?
It's coming up to an hour.
Okay. All right. Well, that's sad. It's over already.
Well, not quite.
Not quite? Okay.
Not quite.
Oh. Well, that's good.
So, give me an idea what we're working on for this week.
Well, so like I said, we're going to be filming my cucumber salad done 2 ways. Again, using these fresh produce. Cucumber and dill. Wonderful thing. It's a very classic Swedish flavor, especially with the sour cream. In Sweden and in the Nordic area, they use those flavors together a lot, but it's something I grew up on. Some other future episodes, I did do a little teaser about it. I'm working on a strawberry shortcake concept. We're going to be doing some kebabs soon, both vegetables and with meat. I have an idea for taking the flavors of chicken parm, but doing them on a kebab, just for something different. But again, it's using this fresh basil. This is what I want to feature in some of these. We're going to be revisiting some pesto recipes coming up because we did a while ago, a pesto episode. I think it was a basic skill. But once you learn that skill, let's explore it. So do things more than just basil. You can use sun-dried tomatoes. You can use all kinds of things. So we're doing more pestos, things like that coming up. Anything to feature produce this time of year, make it a little different. Maybe do some classic episodes.
We are revisiting some of the original episodes we did 4 years ago when our production wasn't so hot.
Yeah.
And video wasn't so good.
And we will be doing, believe it or not, a basic skills episode on how to cook corn. So many people will take a beautiful ear of corn like this and just boil it to death. You don't have to do that. And they boil it, and then it turns orange, and it gets mushy, and it's like, oh, this is great, thank you. Ooh, really. So we're going to be doing some basic skills with that because there's so much more you can do to it than just boiling it. But those classic things are good.
Are we ready to wrap up?
I think so. It's been an hour?
Yep.
Really?
It has been an hour.
Oh, yeah. It's just an hour. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at our live stream here in the mountains. And fortunately, we didn't have any too bad noise or anything.
Yeah, they got done with building new decks and no golf carts going by.
No dog, so that's
we'll
good.
stick around and chat for about 5 minutes.
Yep.
In case you have any questions or ideas you want to send to us. Other than that, we'll see you on Tuesday for our regular episodes.
Fridays for cocktails or basic skills, and every other Sunday for our live stream. So until next time, everyone, thanks for joining us. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.